Hey everybody, my name is Paul Eston Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/BoyGreen25. Make sure you give us a like and hit the subscribe button on our video. We're here for a quick conversation because there is a viral topic going on right now, and that is the future of New York Jets offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur. Now, we've heard from Robert Saleh, we've heard from Joe Douglas, we've heard from the fans. Well, a new man has entered the octagon to share his take on one Mike LaFleur, and that is former BYU quarterback, Pro Football Hall of Famer Steve Young, who joined the Michael Kay Show, and he had some very interesting things to say about Mike LaFleur and his lack of development for Zach Wilson. And another interesting factor, I think he accidentally embarrassed Zach Wilson. Let's throw it up on the big board here. Here is from the Michael Kay Show, one of Steve Young talking about Mike LaFleur and the thought of Cliff Kingsbury, and also throwing his failure to develop Zach Wilson. Let's listen to the clip.
I think Mike LaFleur is gone. If you're going to bring back Zach Wilson, you can't have the same coaching around him. If they do decide to let Mike go, Steve, who do you think should be the next offensive coordinator and can maybe fix Wilson?
Okay.
Is Kingsbury a guy?
Yeah, okay, hold on. Wait, let's go backwards. Because remember, we have to mourn the passing of Greg Knapp, who got run over by a distracted driver, which was part of the solution that was part of how he was getting drafted, and how I'm sorry about that. Mike and Zach needs somebody who's not I know he doesn't need tough love. He doesn't need somebody like see how tough he He needs someone to he needs a big brother and a young, knowledgeable, innovative, someone who can trust and says to him, you know what, despite everything that's happened, Zach, I believe in you. You can get this done. Zach needs that. And Mike kind of kept him at arm's length and gave him the tough love aspect. And I just don't think it's really useful for Zach. If he stays, they've got to fix that. They got to fix that. That's not working. And it's a broken relationship. It's a relationship that needs mending, and that's on both of them. If they do let him go, I would say that Cliff Kingsbury, yeah, I like that idea. I like that. I need somebody who's going to because Zach's problems are not physical. Zach's problems are expectations and how he deals with expectations, and that comes from every direction and all the things that come with playing and playing great football. And he's got to figure out a way to process all the expectations so it doesn't affect his play. And that's a process that's going to go on. I don't think it's not hard. Not hard. It's not long suffering. It just needs to find. It's growing up. It's maturing. It's figuring out how to deal with the stuff's in front of you.
And again, that is the voice of Steve Young joining the Michael Kay Show on Monday. And guys, I think we need to dive a little bit deeper here. And here are my issues. Steve Young said that the relationship between Mike LaFleur and Zach Wilson is, quote, broken. He said that Mike LaFleur kept Zach Wilson, quote, at arm's length. And he said, quote, he gave him tough love. Now, I need to say this, a couple of things here. Obviously, Zach Wilson and Steve Young are incredibly close, both former BYU quarterbacks. Zach Wilson revealed when he got benched that he reached out to multiple former quarterbacks in the league as confidants to get information, tips, and tricks on coming back from this. He listed Kurt Warner. He listed Drew Brees. And, of course, he listed Steve Young, who is a guy that has been someone he's been willing to lean on throughout his NFL career. And I have to say this. Mike LaFleur obviously has faults. They didn't score a touchdown in the final 3 games of the season. That's pathetic and embarrassing, and maybe his job in his career with the Jets should be over based on that sole fun fact alone. But I will tell you guys this. I think when Steve Young – so here's how I perceive it with everything we just heard there from the Michael Kay Show, is that Steve Young obviously communicates and talks with Zach Wilson all the time. And Zach Wilson went to Steve Young and told him this information, said, hey, Mike LaFleur is giving me tough love. He's keeping me at arm's length. Steve Young isn't making this information up. He is hearing this directly from Zach Wilson. And when Steve Young revealed this on the Michael Kay Show, I think it's one of those scenarios where you drop an information bomb and you believe you know where it's going to go, and it doesn't. Because what happened with all of that is simply Steve Young saying, look, Steve Young and Zach Wilson by virtue, point at Mike LaFleur and say, hey, look at this jerk, public media world. Because again, he said this on a national radio show that goes around everywhere. And they said, hey, isn't Mike LaFleur a jerk? Unfortunately, I think the perception of this is actually looking bad on Zach Wilson. It makes Zach Wilson sound whiny. It makes Zach Wilson look like he doesn't like tough coaching and can't handle tough coaching, which is not a good look both for the New York market in his future career here with the Jets or even another NFL location. So I think it's actually, if we're going to use a Zach Wilson comparison, a bunch of months ago, right? Zach Wilson's ex-girlfriend says, hey, world, guess what? Zach Wilson was messing around with his mom's friends. She thought it was going to make Zach Wilson look bad. Actually, he all of a sudden got street cred and said, oh, wow, Zach Wilson's cool. He's messing around with older women. And all of a sudden it raised his social profile and had an unintended consequence from Zach Wilson's old girlfriend. In this particular case, I believe we have once again unintended consequences. Steve Young wanted to put Mike LaFleur on blast, and in some ways he really did. But accidentally, he kind of embarrassed Zach Wilson and made him look like a whiny, a whiny guy that can't handle tough coaching and complains about it and runs to it like, what a 12-year-old girl would do at a night after a tough day at school. Go like, Sally, oh my gosh, gossiping. Oh my God, can you believe that Mike LaFleur treated me this way? And then, oh my gosh, tell me more, Steve Young. And then he just rips into him. That's what it appears to me. So I think Steve Young here, while calling out LaFleur, and maybe that relationship is broken. Elijah Moore had issues, obviously, with Mike LaFleur, demanded a trade. Denzel Mims demanded a trade. So maybe there is a real problem here with LaFleur. And I'm not contesting that. But I am saying that this is a horrible look on Zach Wilson coming from the Michael K. show, from that Steve Young conversation. They thought they were going to do good, I'm sure, with that bite. And actually, I think it did exactly the opposite. We will ultimately see what the Jets do with this Mike LaFleur situation. According to Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh will have sole discretion on whether to bring Mike LaFleur back or to fire him. And they have this, Joe Douglas and Woody Johnson, have given support to Robert Saleh and will back him on any decision he makes. So ultimately, we will see if LaFleur comes back. Whether he comes back or not, Zach Wilson needs to get thicker skin because this is the NFL. This is no longer BYU. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in for a quick video here and a quick little nugget. Thanks to the Michael K. show for that audio. You can also find that full clip on my Twitter account. Make sure you guys like the video. Hit subscribe for more juicy New York Jets content. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next.